Once again, where some key lawmakers are really grappling with their votes on this debt deal. Republican Congressman Dennis Ross of Florida and Democratic Congressman Peter DeFazio of Oregon are two of them. They are joining us now from Capitol Hill. Neither has made a decision. Let me get to Representative DeFazio. I understand you're getting a little closer to a decision, though. Is that true? And if so, what is it?
I walked out of the Democratic caucus 2 hours ago and told the press scrum I was voting against this. So, we've tried to convey that. You talked about the underlying economic data are driving the market. That's right. And there's nothing in this that's going to help with the economy. You've got to look both at the deficit side and the investment side. It's inadequate in terms of deficit, and it actually precludes investment. In fact, the one thing they could have done is fix the FAA bill and got 90,000 people back to work on construction jobs across the country, and that isn't in here. There's nothing in here for the underlying economy.
Representative Ross, how about you? Are you any closer to a decision?
Well, I'm more closer to leaning no, and for one reason I agree with my colleague here is that I don't think spending it does really anything. 98% of the spending cuts happen after 2013, which is when we have a new Congress, and we cannot bind that new Congress. We have to have systemic reforms that show that there is going to be guaranteed deficit reduction over the years.
Okay, both of you. Senator Harry Reid on the Democratic side, John Boehner on the Republican side, and then, of course, Joe Biden just came out, the vice president, saying this is a deal that we should live with. Representative Cantor saying the same thing. To both of you, how can anyone have confidence in our government if neither of you are following the leadership? Not to say that you should always follow the leadership. Of course, this is a democracy. You're allowed to disagree. But I'll start with you, Representative DeFazio. We have traders. We have people on the street, people at my son's swim team awards last night saying, just get the deal done. And how do we have confidence in you both if you won't go with your leadership who have been elected as representatives of all of you?
Well, look, as I said, I want to do things to stimulate the underlying economy, put people back to work. This doesn't do that. And I just do not feel any compunction here to follow my leadership. If they hadn't gotten weak knees in December and had joined with me in voting against extending all the Bush tax cuts, we would be $3.8 trillion less in debt in 10 years. So, Reagan raised taxes in a double-dip recession. He said, oh, my God, disaster. No, actually, things got better because he invested in the real economy. Clinton raised taxes in a recession, and guess what? The economy got better because some of the money was used for real investment, putting people back to work, rebuilding our infrastructure. This thing is a loser all the way around.
Representative Ross, where would you like to see the cuts that you haven't in spending within this deal?
It's not so much seeing where the cuts are, but making sure that they actually happen. You see, what we're about ready to do is to bind future Congresses to at least $900 billion in debt and potentially, very likely, $1.4 trillion more. But unfortunately, we don't have any guarantee that there's going to be dollar-for-dollar cuts down the line. And that's what has me concerned. I am a proponent of a balanced budget amendment. I firmly believe that in order to get our House in order, we've got to have some restrictions that require us to operate within our means.
Not a bad idea, but of course, everybody's waiting to see what happens, and we know how busy a time it is. We so appreciate you both coming here. Is it fair to say you both are likely to vote against this?
I'm definitely voting against it.
Okay. All right. Keep us posted. We thank you very much. Republican Congressman Dennis Ross of Florida and Democratic Congressman Peter DeFazio of Oregon. Folks, obviously, you hear from these two gentlemen, you realize this is very far from a done deal, but every step of the way, we are going to be